At the Sterling Gala, my boyfriend had promised to announce our engagement, but a brand new intern snatched the microphone and announced smugly, "CEO, proclaiming your love for me in front of the whole company. Aren't you worried it's a little over the top?" Instead of correcting her, Xavier rewarded the stunt by booking the two of them an exclusive getaway for training purposes. The room erupted in whistles and cheers about what a perfect couple they made. A colleague noticed me frozen in place and whispered, "What are you waiting for? Go up, toast them, say something nice." I smiled, then pulled out the couple rings I'd prepared earlier and tossed them at Xavier's feet. "A getaway isn't nearly enough. Consider these rings my wedding gift. Make sure you send me an invite when you tie the knot." The sterling lights stung my eyes. I stood off stage, clutching the velvet ring box, my palms slick with sweat. Up on the platform, Xavier delivered the yearly wrap-up, every gesture the picture of leadership. I couldn't look away. "Finally, I have an important announcement." He glanced toward me, the corner of his mouth lifting. My pulse sprinted. 5 years. 5 years of hiding our office romance, and today he would finally acknowledge me. I brushed the 6-figure diamond rings in my pocket, picturing him sliding one onto my finger. Just then Chloe, the intern who'd been here 3 months, bounded up, swiped the mic, and chirped, "CEO, proclaiming your love for me in front of the whole company. Aren't you worried it's a little over the top?" She flashed her sunniest smile, 2 cute canines on display, then added, "But I love it." The hall fell silent for 2 beats, then exploded in laughter and catcalls. I stood rooted, the box edge biting into my fingers. Xavier looked startled for a split second, then he actually smiled. "Chloe really is a promising newcomer," he said, patting her shoulder. "To reward your stellar performance, I'm sending you on an exclusive getaway, call it specialized training." Chloe clutched her chest theatrically. "CEO, are you asking me on a date?" The crowd hooped again. An old teammate nudged me. "Raven, what are you waiting for? Go toast them, say something sweet." I turned to him mechanically. He winked. "CEO obviously likes the girl. As her boss, you've gotta show some grace, right?" I stared at the rings, mind blank. He likes Chloe? Then what am I? What are the 5 years we spent together? Watching them banter on stage, I stood there a long moment, then laughed. "You're right. I should congratulate them." I rose and walked straight toward the stage. Xavier's gaze flicked nervously when he saw me. Chloe lifted her chin in triumph. "A getaway isn't nearly enough." I opened the box, plucked out the brand new bands, and flicked them at Xavier's feet. "Consider these rings my wedding gift. Send me an invite when you two get married." The rings bounced twice and rolled to a stop against his shoe. His face went chalk white. "Raven, you." No one caught the tremor in his voice. The staff thought I was joking and applauded. "Way to go, Raven, so generous. That bling looks pricey." She's really splashing out. CEO and Chloe, a match made in heaven, perfect timing on the gift. I smiled at the crowd, spun on my heel, and left. Rapid footsteps followed. "Raven. Wait." I never looked back, striding out of the banquet hall. The cool corridor air let me breathe again. As the elevator doors slid shut, I saw him dash out, too late. While the car dropped, my phone buzzed. A text from Xavier. "It's not what you think. I can explain." I didn't answer, I muted the phone. For 5 years I'd heard every version of explanation. Chloe's only an intern, I have to keep her morale up. The company's swamped, let's reschedule our date. She's young and clueless, don't take it to heart. Each time I chose to understand, to give in. Because I loved him, I accepted being the invisible girlfriend. I swallowed every cancelled dinner, endured Chloe's constant presence in his office. Today was supposed to be the day he finally introduced me to the world as his partner. I'd waited half a decade for it. The sub-basement garage felt like a freezer. I slid into my car. On the passenger seat sat the vintage champagne meant for our celebration. Now it looked like a bad joke. As I started the engine, a figure darted in front of the bumper. Chloe slapped the hood, grinning victoriously. When I stopped, she trotted to my window and tapped the glass. "Director, leaving so soon?" I lowered the window and regarded her without expression. "Something you need? Don't be cold." She wagged her phone. On the screen glowed her chat with Xavier. "CEO just texted, the trip set for the Maldives, a whole week, just us two." I stared at her youthful face and found the scene absurd. 3 months ago this clumsy kid couldn't even build a decent PowerPoint. I trained her myself. Now she was flaunting her conquest. "Finished? Move. I'm driving away." She hadn't expected that. She blinked. "That's it?" No anger? No jealousy? I rolled the window up, done talking. She had to step back, cheeks flushing. Footsteps echoed closer. Xavier jogged up, hair slightly disheveled. Raven. He rapped on the glass, panting. We need to talk. I sighed and lowered the window again. Nothing to discuss. The rings are yours. Be happy together. Raven, stop being like this. He frowned and blocked my path, exactly like every other time he'd defend Chloe. She's an intern, guiding her is part of my job. She's young, showing her extra care is normal. Why are you so petty? Here we go again. Whenever Chloe was involved, right or wrong, the fault always landed on me. I was exhausted, I couldn't keep doing this. I drew a slow breath, met his eyes with unshakable calm, and said, Xavier, all you ever do is ask me to understand you, to tolerate everything without question. But you have no idea how many friends' birthdays I skipped just to stay late with you, no idea how much it hurt every time I saw you laughing with Chloe. You don't even know how much I prepared for the day we'd finally go public. Xavier's expression flickered, he opened and closed his mouth. I can explain. Save it. I restarted the engine. Xavier, we're done. In the rearview mirror he stood motionless, shrinking smaller and smaller. Chloe was beside him, a hand on his shoulder, saying something. My phone buzzed again, one new text from an unknown number. Ms. Vance, this is the HR director at Cairo. Have you considered our offer? We're prepared to double your salary plus project equity. Hope to welcome you aboard. I drew a slow breath and answered, I accept. Let's meet in person to finalize the details. The car slid out of the sub-basement garage and melted into the night. In the mirror, Sterling's logo faded from sight. 5 years of my youth, closed chapter. The moment I stepped out of the sub-basement garage, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. The company-wide WhatsApp group lit up with Xavier's at everyone message. Effective immediately, the Ether project formerly led by Raven is transferred to Chloe. Raven, please arrange full handover. The chat exploded. Alex. Chloe really is that good. Director, don't take it hard, reorgs happen. Crazy, Chloe's only been here 3 months and she's landing a flagship project. I snorted, muted the thread. He'd looked almost hesitant in the garage. Now he couldn't wait to strip me of my work. No prize for guessing whose whispers sealed it. Casey, the Ether project is Sterling's biggest R.D bet of the last 2 years, and the proprietary algorithm lives only in my head. Xavier knows that. Handing it to Chloe is a bluff to force me to heal. Too bad. Career or relationship, this time I fold on neither. Next morning I barely reached my office when Chloe blocked the doorway. Director, the CEO asked me to collect the project. She flashed a bright smile, sipping coffee. You're not going to make this difficult, are you? I ignored her, pushed the door open. She followed, plopped into my chair, and crossed her legs. Wow, this chair feels amazing, no wonder director doesn't want to leave. I pulled the folder I'd prepared last week and tossed it onto the desk. Everything's in there. Knock yourself out. She leafed through 2 pages, frown deepening. What is this? Where's the source code? The proprietary algorithm? I lifted a shoulder. Still in my head, her face tightened. Raven, don't push it. The CEO said full handover, no exceptions. I smiled. Fine, tell him to come ask himself. She shot up. Who do you think you are? The CEO won't even waste time seeing you. I'd had enough. I grabbed my resignation letter from the drawer and walked out. Where are you going? She yelled after me. Quitting. I strode straight to the executive suite. When I pushed the door, Xavier was reading a file. He didn't bother looking up. What is it? I laid the resignation letter on his desk. I quit. He finally met my eyes, cold as frost. Raven, are you finished yet? How much longer are you going to throw your tantrum? My voice stayed level. No tantrum. Dead serious. He studied me a couple of seconds, then sneered. Fine, get out. The company spins just fine without you, right? Then Chloe burst in. CEO. Raven won't hand over the Ether core files. Xavier's brows snapped together, he looked at me. Raven, what exactly do you want? Before I could answer, Chloe jumped in, all sweet concern. CEO, maybe we should drop it. Director's probably just upset. I'll figure something out. Her fake concession only stoked his anger. Forget it. He slammed the desk. Raven, you think Sterling can't breathe without you? Your resignation, approved. He snatched a pen, scrawled his signature, and flung the paper back. Now clear out, immediately. I took the document and smiled. Rowan. Walking out, I heard Chloe's cloying voice, CEO, don't be mad. Maybe director can't stand how nice you are to me. Xavier replied icily, ignore her, plenty more where she came from. I kept moving, strode back to my cubicle, and began packing. Coworkers glanced over, no one spoke. An old teammate came up, sighing. Raven, why? The CEO's just angry. Apologize and this blows over. I smiled. You think I'm acting out of spite? She blinked. Isn't it? I didn't answer, slid the last items into the box, and patted her shoulder. Take care. Outside the building the sun was blinding. I inhaled, dialed Cairo's HR. Hi, Taylor, Raven here. Resignation's finalized, I can start any time. I hung up and glanced back at the tower. Xavier, you'll learn soon enough. The Ether project really can't live without me. 3 days after I left, my phone finally fell quiet. No new messages from Xavier, no updates on Ether in the company channels. I'm guessing he's discovered the project stalls without me. In the past, whenever we fought, I'd cave within 2 hours and find some excuse to pamper him. This time I haven't answered once. He's starting to realize it's different. At 8 that evening I was on the couch reviewing project docs from Cairo when the doorbell rang. I frowned and went to open it. Xavier stood there, tailored suit immaculate, fatigue lining his face. Why haven't you answered your phone? He demanded, voice cool. I leaned against the jamb, making no move to let him in. What do you want? He scowled, clearly thrown by my tone. There's a problem with Ether. I need you back to fix it. I laughed. CEO, I've already resigned. Sterling's problems aren't mine anymore. His face darkened. Raven, even tantrums have limits. The project is frozen, the whole team is waiting for you. I shrugged. Then figure it out yourselves. He stared at me, a flicker of panic crossing his eyes, panic that he could no longer cover with confidence, then quickly pulled his usual lofty mask back on. What will it take to make you come back? Go back? I arched an eyebrow. Go back to being your invisible girlfriend? Go back to watching you flirt with Chloe? He bit his lip, voice softening a notch. Raven, there's really nothing between Chloe and me. Just what? I cut him off. Just think she's young and promising? Just find her more interesting than me? He choked, words stuck in his throat. I turned, walked back to the living room, and picked up my new employee badge from the coffee table. I joined Cairo. First day tomorrow. His eyes bulged, he snatched the badge, disbelief flooding his face at the rival firm's logo. Cairo? That's our competitor. Raven, are you insane? You'd jump to the enemy out of spite? I looked at him calmly. Not spite, better offer. Offer? He gave a cold laugh. How much? I'll double it. Quit right now and come back. I shook my head. Too late. His chest heaved as he glared. All this over an intern? Jealous to the point of losing your mind, don't you have any pride? Seeing him spew venom now, I could still faintly picture the boy who once confessed to me. We'd promised to walk through life hand in hand, yet 5 short years had twisted everything. I drew a deep breath and finally let the words out. Xavier, we're done. The instant the sentence left my lips his face turned deathly pale. He stared, lips trembling, unwilling to believe I'd uttered them. What did you say? I said we're breaking up. My tone was so steady it surprised even me. 5 years, I'm exhausted. His fingers clenched unconsciously, knuckles whitening. Just because I put Chloe on the project? Raven, when did you become so petty? I gave a soft laugh. You think that's the reason? What else could it be? His voice shot up, laced with barely concealed panic. Because I didn't go public at the gala? Because I'm close to Chloe? Raven, grow up. I watched him quietly, watched the reddish corners of his eyes, watched him struggle to stay composed. Even now he still believed I was throwing a tantrum. Xavier, remember last Wednesday night? He blinked. What? You said you'd be working late and told me not to wait. Actually, I had a stomach bleed and lay in the hospital until 2 a.m. His pupils contracted. You didn't tell me. Would telling you have mattered? I smiled thinly. You were with Chloe entertaining clients, grinning in the Instagram photos. He swayed as if clubbed on the head. You saw those? More than that. My birthday last month, something came up. My parents' visit 3 months ago, too busy. 6 months ago I mentioned marriage, let's wait. I can explain. He seized my wrist, nails digging in. There were reasons. That client in Chloe's hands is vital to Sterling, I had to. Enough. I gently pulled free, I didn't want another excuse. Xavier, admit it, I'm no longer your priority. His eyes reddened. That's not true. Raven, give me one more chance. It was the first time in 5 years I'd seen him plead, but it was far too late. Cairo's paying triple, plus equity. He stared at the badge, then laughed, a laugh uglier than tears. So it's for money? Raven, I never thought you were this shallow. Right, it's for money. After all, in 5 years I never even got a decent dress from you. His expression froze. I guessed he'd finally remembered the dress he'd given Chloe, the one she'd casually regifted, the one I'd seen. His voice cracked. I can go buy one right now. No need. I opened the door. Please leave, CEO. I start work tomorrow. He stayed rooted. I took in his perfectly styled hair, his immaculate suit, and suddenly recalled the boy who'd sneak me midnight snacks during overtime, who'd take a sick day just to nurse my cold. That boy had vanished long ago. Raven. His whisper was almost inaudible. If I fire Chloe? I hesitated. I hadn't expected someone so proud to utter that. After a moment I still shook my head. Not necessary. Our problems were never just about Chloe. His tears finally fell, drop after drop hitting the floor, my first time seeing him cry for me. Yet within seconds he lifted his head again, though tears lingered, his face had turned cold. You think Cairo really values you? They're only using you against me. I nodded. Maybe. So what? At least they offer respect and fair pay. He staggered back a step. You'll regret this. Raven, you'll regret it. I'll wait for that day. For now, please go. I ushered him out and shut the door. Only then did I hear muffled sobs from the corridor, fading until the elevator dinged them into silence. I leaned against the door and slid slowly to the floor. My phone lit up, still showing a photo of Xavier and me. After a moment's hesitation I deleted every picture of us. Since I'd chosen to let go, nothing would stay. Ever since that ugly farewell, Xavier seemed a changed man. Monday morning, as I reached Cairo Tech's lobby, I saw Chloe on his arm leaving the cafe across the street. She wore a brand new tailored dress and the designer watch Xavier had given her. Well, if it isn't director, she trilled deliberately loud. What a coincidence. Xavier stood beside her, eyes locked on me, a faint, mocking smile tugging at his lips. I nodded. Morning. Then I walked straight past them. Raven. Xavier called after me. Sterling just landed a huge new project, Chloe's the lead now. Without turning, I lifted a hand. Congrats. From behind came Chloe's saccharine sneer. CEO, she's Cairo's golden girl these days, why would she even glance our way? For the next 2 weeks the coincidences multiplied. Sometimes the cafeteria, sometimes Riverside. Every time Xavier made sure to look inseparable from Chloe, yet his gaze kept flicking to me. I pretended not to notice. Until Friday afternoon, while I was strolling through Liberty near Sterling, I ran into my college classmate Chin Yuan. Raven? Is that really you? She squealed, patting the back of my hand. Word is you're crushing it. We traded pleasantries, laughter bubbling, when hurried footsteps sounded behind us. Raven, what a surprise. Xavier had materialized, Chloe glued to his side as usual. His eyes swept between Chin Yuan and me, a polite smile pinned in place. And you are? Chin Yuan asked, curious. I was about to answer when Xavier extended his hand first. Hi, I'm Xavier, Raven's former boss, I cut in calmly. This is Chin Yuan, my college roommate. His hand froze midair, the smile shattered. Chloe quickly slipped her arm through his. CEO, we need to go, the client's waiting. But Xavier didn't budge, staring at me. Raven, that's how you introduce me, how else? I countered. What did you expect, CEO? His eyes reddened, lips trembling, no words coming. Chen Yuan sensed the tension and excused herself awkwardly. Once she was gone, Xavier seized my wrist. Raven, we need to talk. I shook him off. There's nothing left to say, just listen. I know I screwed up. His voice cracked. I was trying to make you jealous, Chloe and I are nothing. I let out a cold laugh. Xavier, when did you get so childish? I wanted you to feel jealous, to prove I could be fine without you. Consider the proof delivered, then. He stood frozen, fat tears rolling down. He choked. I regret it. Raven, can we start over? Looking at him, I felt only bewilderment. In 5 years, if he'd apologized like this once, I wouldn't have been so hollow. Yet he waits until I've burnt every bridge to finally turn back. Xavier, I sighed, you never knew how to cherish anything. Saying this now is too late. I turned and left. His hoarse screams echoed behind me. Raven! Raven! I never looked back. The setting sun stretched my shadow long and thin. This time, I could walk forward with nothing holding me. 1 month later, at Cairo's quarterly earnings press conference, I stood in the spotlight as the newly promoted technical director. Under director's leadership, our Stellar Dome project wrapped 3 months early and has already signed partnerships with 3 global giants. Applause thundered, camera flashes strobed. Smiling, I scanned the crowd and spotted Xavier in the last row. Plain white shirt, faded jeans, light years from his former imperial aura. When our eyes met, his lit up, then dimmed just as fast. After the event, he intercepted me at the staff exit. Raven. His voice was barely a whisper. Can we talk? I checked my watch. 10 minutes. He looked down, pulled a folder from his bag. Sterling is bleeding out. I skimmed the printout, financial hemorrhage. Losses so bad they looked like typos. Chloe cratered the Skydome project. Every client pulled, the banks calling loans, payrolls, and... I cut in. He lifted his gaze, tears brimming. So, could you come back? Just this once. Seeing his scarlet eyes, I flashed back 5 years to when we'd started up. The same red eyes, the same plea, Raven, we'll build something of our own. Back then, his stare had sparkled with ambition. I didn't answer. Instead I asked, remember the SOAR crisis last year? He froze. I rewrote the entire source code, 3 days, 0 sleep. And the year before, when funding collapsed, I caught the red eye to Shenzhen and hauled in our first round. Tears spilled down his cheeks. Every single time, I was the one who saved Sterling. And you? You promoted Chloe, gifted her a 6-figure watch, handed her the public recognition I begged for. Before I could finish, Xavier covered his ears, shaking his head, clutching my sleeve. I was wrong. I know that now. I gently peeled his fingers away. No. You're not sorry you failed me, you're sorry you lost the one person who always cleaned up your mess. His whole frame shuddered as though I'd stabbed the truth into him. When he spoke again, his voice fractured. Raven, one more chance, please? I swear I'll. Enough. I cut him off. Xavier, keep some dignity for yourself. I turned to leave. He lunged and wrapped his arms around me from behind. Don't go, please. His soaks dampened my shirt. I can't function without you. I stood rigid. This was the first time he'd ever admitted he needed me. But nothing could be salvaged, the hourglass was empty. I loosened his grip finger by finger. CEO, have some self-respect. He stumbled back 2 steps, grandeur nowhere in sight. Just then my phone rang. Director, the board is convening, my assistant said. Leo says an important client wants to meet you. On my way. I hung up and glanced at Xavier. Sorry, work. His lips quivered. You're happy now? I smoothed my skirt. Clearly, I am. Xavier looked as if every ounce of strength had been siphoned out of him. He slowly crouched down and, right there amid the tide of strangers, bawled like a little kid. I didn't help him up. I simply turned and walked away. I was already far off when his hoarse, heart-rending sobs still reached me. This time, he finally understood. The Raven who had always waited in place for him would never look back again. While I headed for the conference room, an email from HR popped up. Congratulations on being named Employee of the Quarter, your bonus has been deposited. I glanced at the screen and felt the corners of my mouth lift. So this is what it feels like to be valued. It's wonderful. Life at Cairo has been smooth sailing. From tech director to division head took barely half a year. The stock incentives the board granted have vested. I bought a downtown condo, and the garage now shelters a car I once wouldn't even dare dream about. Sometimes, after working late, I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the city glitter. I feel as if the girl who once clutched a ring box and shook all over at the company gala is nothing but a blurry silhouette. How Xavier's company is doing, I do hear bits and pieces. Industry forums occasionally mention their cash flow squeeze, and peers gossip that he's run his legs off chasing investors. The man who used to shine on the sterling stage now has to smile ingratiatingly just to keep clients. Because the firm keeps him frantic, he hasn't bothered me with recycled memories in ages. Exactly what I want. After all, people have to move forward, right? At the beginning of the year a new intern arrived, Leo. The kid's shy. The first time he presented a project report his voice trembled the whole way through. I'd just taken over the team, and seeing him was like seeing my younger self, so I threw him a few extra pointers. Later he sought my advice more and more, on source code logic, on industry trends, jotting dense notes in a little notebook every time. Raven, I still don't quite get this algorithmic model, he'd say, carrying a coffee, eyes sparkling outside my office door. I practically tutored him hand in hand, took him to client sites, rewrote his proposals, even quietly smoothed things over when other departments hassled him. Leo's smart, learns fast, and knows how to be grateful. Once when I stayed past midnight, he soundlessly placed hot congee on my desk and left without a word. At that moment something inside me seemed to be nudged gently. We got together after a project celebration dinner. He'd had a little wine, his cheeks were flushed when he suddenly gripped my shoulders. Raven, you're not just my mentor, not just my senior to me. I want to be with you, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Looking into his earnest eyes, I nodded almost without hesitation. Only after we were dating did I learn he is the chairman's son. The first time chairman met me he clapped my shoulder and said, Raven, I've read your project reports, solid, innovative. With you, the boy will learn plenty, I'm at ease. Leo comes from money but hasn't a trace of young master arrogance. He'll squeeze onto the subway with me, delivers homemade bento when I work overtime, chatters about his childhood on gallery visits and hikes, and listens intently when I talk about the past. About Xavier, of course, I only skimmed the surface. I thought life would just go on, calm and happy, that the name Xavier would fade completely from my memory. Until that day. Raven? Leo and I were shopping for clothes at Riverside. He'd gone into the fitting room, and I was waiting outside. Suddenly I heard a voice both familiar and foreign. I looked up. Xavier stood 3 steps away, noticeably thinner in a plain t-shirt and jeans, his eyes reddening the instant he saw me. It really is you. As if to prove something, he fumbled a trembling hand into his bag and pulled something out. Look, I kept them all this time. It was the pair of rings I had once thrown back at him. I couldn't help frowning. Xavier, what are you doing? I regret it, I really regret it. Tears fell in big drops as he awkwardly tried to slip a ring onto his finger, but it was too loose now and simply slid off. Raven, give me one more chance, please? The company is gone, Chloe ran off, I have nothing left, only you. I stepped back. Don't do this. I know you still love me. He lunged and grabbed my hand. 5 years, how can that just disappear? You're angry, right? I was wrong, I'll listen to you from now on. I yanked my hand free. Xavier, it's over. No. Impossible, he screamed, and suddenly clutched my collar. How can you do this to me? I gave up everything for you. Let go. Leo shot forward, shoved Xavier several steps away, and shielded me behind him. Didn't you hear what she said? Xavier froze. He looked at Leo, then at me, and staggered back 2 steps, shaking his head. You too, you. I had no patience left for his drama. I tugged Leo's hand and turned away. Let's go. The instant the elevator doors closed I heard something hit the floor and Xavier's torn, desolate sob. It hurts, doesn't it, being abandoned by the person you love? I endured that pain for 5 full years before I finally found the courage to start over. Later, I heard his company still couldn't find anyone capable of taking over my work. The core proprietary algorithm remained locked, clients withdrew orders, the share price cratered. 3 months later, unable to hold on, he filed for bankruptcy. By then I was far away in New Zealand, busy planning a destination wedding trip with Leo. Xavier, the past, none of it had the slightest thing to do with me anymore. All I wanted was the present, the happiness within easy reach. Thank you for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more wonderful stories. See you next time.
Chase was getting engaged. Inside the VIP lounge, one of his buddies asked, "So what happens to Joey?" Chase answered dead certain. "She won't leave me. Keep her on the side. Think Joey will agree to that." Chase casually plucked a mandarin orange from the platter and added, "I'll compensate her. She's low maintenance. She won't put me in a bind." Later, I really did exactly what he predicted. No fuss, no drama. I kept playing this sweet, understanding role in front of him. Until the day before his engagement, when I sold the penthouse he'd given me, took the money and ghosted him. In this world, who says anyone can't live without someone else? She's low maintenance. She won't put me in a bind. The moment that line left his mouth, the dazzling, spotless Chase I was used to suddenly seemed to reek, to rot. I remembered his mother had been driven sick by the mistress his father kept on the side. Now he was going to follow in his father's footsteps after all. Inside the lounge, the crowd kept chewing over the topic. "Chase, you and Joey have been together 5 years, right? Seriously, you're not bored yet? In those 5 years my dad cycled through 3 stepmoms for me. You, on the other hand, still have only her." Chase swirled his glass and smiled. "Joey's gorgeous, capable, and she's been with me since graduation. Plus, she genuinely loves me. I'm not ready to cut it off." Listening, his friend gave a sly chuckle. "Gotta hand it to you, Chase, you're loyal. If I were Joey, I wouldn't want to leave you either." Chase barked, "Get lost." Everyone laughed, clinked glasses, and drifted to other gossip. Marriage sucks being bossed around. See, Brother Fu bailed on us again tonight. I stood outside the lounge, expressionless, and heard every word. The employment contract I just printed crinkled under my clenched fingers. A tear slipped free, landed on my hand, cool and sharp. I warned myself inside. "Joey, stay sober. You and he were never possible. You were only using him. Don't catch feelings." Once my pulse leveled, I pushed open the door. Someone greeted me teasingly as boss lady. Chase shot him a look that killed the joke. He had never called me his girlfriend. To outsiders, I was at best an efficient assistant. Only his close friends knew what I really was. Pretending I hadn't heard, I walked obediently to his side and handed him the contract. I wasn't ready to lay my cards on the table yet. After all, he was still technically my employer. Men can be replaced, but a job that starts at 10, ends at 4, gives weekends off and full benefits? That's rare. Even if I quit, it sure wouldn't be because I got fired. As I sat, he pressed the mandarin he'd just peeled, white fibers meticulously removed, into my palm. One of his buddies watched, then drawled, "Assistant Joey, you've got it made. Look how well Chase treats you. You'd better repay our Chase properly." I smiled, tore off a segment, and slipped it into my mouth. The first bite flooded my tongue with sourness. Repay him I would. He had saved me once. The story of how Chase and I met is cliché. Senior year, my mom was critically ill and needed money fast. To score overtime pay, I joined my supervisor for a client dinner. The sleazebag drugged my drink. When that animal tried to drag me into his car, Chase appeared and rescued me. That night, lying in Chase's back seat, I took the initiative and pressed against him. He resisted, but I kept throwing myself at him until he lost control. Afterward, he settled my mother's hospital bills. Learning which university I attended, he funneled me into his company. Upon graduation, I became his assistant. At work, he taught me everything. Off-duty, he flew me around the country, broadening my horizons. As a partner, he was steady, had no vices, and was generous. 5 years rolled by like that. Those 5 years, Chase believed I was forever sweet and undemanding. What he didn't know was that our meeting had been my design. I'd reserved the very restaurant where my supervisor took me, because every Friday night Chase visited that mall to buy pastries for his bedridden mother. The one thing I hadn't lied about. My mom really was sick, and I truly needed money. I was also genuinely grateful. But now I have to leave. I refused to be the woman who wrecks someone else's marriage. The lounge AC kept blasting. I wore only a short skirt, and autumn nights bite. After a while I couldn't hold back a sneeze. Achoo! Chase draped his jacket over my shoulders. Cold. As always, I obediently shook my head. He went back to his liquor, glass after glass. A dozen drinks later, he couldn't take it and slumped against the sofa. I helped him leave early. He was so drunk he swayed down the hall. I steadied him into the elevator, then hauled him onto the bed, exhausted. I collapsed beside him. Chase rarely drinks, but he handles it well. He just sleeps. I rolled over and stared at his even breathing, entranced. He is absurdly handsome, as if carved by a sculptor who refused excess flesh. Realizing I might never see this face again left an ache. I reached out and gently traced it, my finger lingering on the bridge of his perfect nose. 5 years, saying I'd never once wavered would be a lie. A tear slipped free before I could stop it, and the image of Chase in the VIP lounge just now, so sure of himself, flashed through my mind. She can't walk away from me. The next second I yanked my hand back as if I'd been shocked. A voice popped into my head. Joey, he's getting engaged in a week. He still wants to keep you on the side. You're really going to keep loving a man like that? When I came back to myself, the wine had worn off completely. Right, no matter how low I'd sunk, I couldn't keep wanting another woman's fiancé. That was the line. Once the thought was clear, I stood up, left the bedroom, and pulled the door shut behind me. I'd wait until he woke tomorrow morning. Then I would lay my cards on the table. I spent the whole night in nightmares. When I jolted awake on the couch, the sky was still a dull gray. Beside me, Chase's phone was ringing inside his coat. I sat up, fished it out, and the moment the screen lit up with fiancé, the guilt surged again. I had to cut him off. No more stalling. Phone in hand, I walked into the bedroom. Chase hadn't stirred yet. I tapped his arm, hesitating. Chase, your phone's ringing. He frowned sleepily. Answer it for me. It's your fiancé. The words snapped his eyes open, sharp, alert. He sat up, took the phone, and swiped accept. Chase. Her voice, bright and flirty, came through loud and clear. Chase gave a non-committal hum. This early, what's up? She coiled her words like silk. Why so serious? I'm calling to remind you. Don't forget lunch with my parents today. Be on time. I haven't forgotten, he said. I'll be there. The line clicked dead and silence crashed over the room. When the air felt too thin, I broke it first. You're getting married? Chase answered like he was confirming the weather. In a week. Then he laughed. Jealous? No, I. By the way, he added, this penthouse is already in your name. Someone will call you this afternoon to sign the papers. The sentence shoved every rehearsed goodbye straight back down my throat. A man. Disposable. But a 400 square meter skyline penthouse downtown? Nobody hands that back. My eyes shimmered, tears of excitement. Chase probably mistook them for heartbreak. He brushed the tip of my nose. Silly girl. Never said I was dumping you. He rolled out of bed and headed for the door. I'll be tied up with the engagement, for a while. Once it's done, I'll come find you. At the threshold, he pulled me into a quick, hard hug and pressed a long kiss to my forehead. Wait for me. I nodded like the perfect doll. The instant the door shut, I scrubbed the kiss off with the back of my hand, sobbing. Joey, the moment the deed is in your hands, you run. 5 years interest collected in full. While the paperwork processed, I stayed busy. I tore the closets apart, hauled out every gift Chase had given me. Designer bags, stilettos, the lot, filled 2 huge suitcases, and sold the haul to a second-hand luxury buyer for cash. By the time I grabbed lunch, my phone buzzed. Joey, could you come by now to pick up the transfer contract? The instant the ink dried, I marched into a brokerage and listed the penthouse. 2 rules: full cash, close fast. I never expected to bump straight into Chase's friend Connor when I stepped out. No time to dodge. He spotted me immediately, grinning. Joey, what brings you here? I stammered. Just some errands for the company. Instant regret. His family owns half the real estate firms on the coast. This agency is probably one of them. His eyes glinted. Word is Chase just handed you a penthouse. You're not flipping it so you can ghost him, are you? I saw no point lying. Worst case, I'd walk away from the apartment. Yes. I'm leaving Chase. If you're going to tattle, dial him now. His smile faltered. Avery, he finally managed after a beat. You sure about this? I nodded, confused by the hesitation. Positive. Chase, he's caught between duties, you know. He's serious about you. Before you there were no other women. Maybe think it. I cut him off. I can live without a title, but I won't betray my own bottom line. I refuse to be the other woman. Connor exhaled, defeated. I won't tell him I saw you. But you know Chase. If he realizes you're gone, he'll track you down. Take care of yourself. He left. 3 days later, the penthouse sold. 20% under market because I'd begged for speed. The buyer didn't haggle. By that afternoon, $18 million hit my account. I officially quit Harrington. To my surprise, Chase okayed it without a fight. His WhatsApp blinked. Why the sudden resignation? Not happy anymore? I was still wondering how to explain when 2 more texts dropped in. Forget it. If you don't want to work, don't. After the engagement party, I'll take you to the beach to clear your head. I typed back, okay. At the same moment, I booked the first flight home for the next morning. The plane was climbing when Chase's message hit my inbox. A picture of a solitaire ring. He must be with his fiancée right now, choosing diamonds. 2 days to go before their engagement banquet. Gorgeous, I replied offhand. He shot back. Like it? Want me to buy you one too? No thanks. I doubt I'll ever need it. Come on, it's just something to wear for fun. Chase really had become a stranger. A ring that should carry a girl's dreams of marriage was nothing but a toy to him. I almost felt sorry for his fiancée. 1 second before I powered down, I said my last goodbye. A full stop to our 5 years. Chase, I'm gone. Congratulations on your engagement. I switched the phone off. The engines roared as the plane kept rising. Inside, I said farewell to the city I'd lived in for 5 years. Eastbrook, goodbye, and never again. Back in the boutique, Chase's heart lurched when he read my text. He called. The line was dead. A bad premonition gripped him. Joey wasn't joking. Sam, he lied that Harrington had an emergency and he had to run. Ignoring his fiancée's protests, he sped alone to my penthouse. Empty. The lock code had been changed. Realization hit. He'd been played. Recalling my usual docile face, a slow burn rose in his chest. Joey, nice move, he muttered. Downstairs, he dialed his assistant. Pull Joey's movements for the past week. I want her itinerary yesterday. Next morning, grabbing breakfast, I saw Chase outside. That he'd tracked me down didn't shock me. I know him. Calm, aloof on the surface. Stubborn to the bone underneath. He refuses to let anything slip his control. Hair disheveled by the wind, he strode over. He seized my arm and barked. Finished making a scene? Then come home with me. He yanked me toward the street. I planted my feet. Pain shot through my arm. I crouched and burst into tears. Only then did he stop. He knelt, palm brushing my hair, voice soft. Hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lost my temper. I was just frantic. When I still didn't budge, he scooped me up. I'm not going back to Eastbrook, I protested. He gave a wry smile. Fine, no Eastbrook. Let's go home, you're home, okay? I've never seen where you grew up. Take me upstairs? Before I could refuse, he started climbing. 5 flights, no elevator. Not a grunt, just steady steps and steady chatter. Missing home. I worried the memories of your mom would hurt, so these 5 years I never came with you. If you're homesick, stay through the new year, then we'll head back. I struggled in his arms. I'm not returning. Not ever. He sighed, indulgent. Still mad? So desperate to marry me? As if. I twisted free, easier this time. Chase, since you used to sign my paychecks, I'll host you as a guest. But shut the door on everything else. 5th floor came fast. I unlocked and let him trail in. I fetched him water from the kitchen. When I came out, he trapped me in a sudden hug. Joey, I've missed you like hell this week. Let me hold you, please? I shoved him off hard. He stared, stunned. Ring ring. His phone. Same familiar female voice, his fiancée. Chase, don't forget the tasting today. Yeah, I'll be back this afternoon. He pocketed the phone, eyes on me. Joey, I really love you. Don't leave me, all right? Tenderness poured out of him. Seconds after promising his fiancée he'd return. So I tossed him an impossible bargain. Don't walk down that aisle and I'll go back with you. Predictably, his face chilled. Joey, stop being extreme. This is normal. Who I marry won't touch what's between us. You know I love you, shouldn't that be enough? Must I marry you to prove it? Chase, I don't care whether you can marry me. I never believed in marriage anyway. But I refuse to be the woman you keep on the side. He hesitated. My mother planned this engagement. Her health, you know I can't upset her. Give me a few years, I'll divorce and marry you. I won't make you wait long. He opened his arms, ready for my surrender. I stared at him, stubborn and unmoving. After a long silence, Chase's face darkened again. He slammed the door behind him, leaving one last sentence hanging in the air. Even if you won't come home with me tonight, I have plenty of ways to make you crawl back to me. Joey, game on. Taylor's month. I fired off resumes to every company I could find, determined to start over. Every single one bounced back. No prizes for guessing who pulled the strings, Chase. He was tightening the screws until I cracked. I got over it faster than I expected. My savings could bankroll the rest of my life in comfort. Work was optional. Then a message popped up in the tenement group chat. They're saying our block's getting condemned. The day property management knocked for my signature, Chase's text landed. Say the word and I'll kill the demolition tonight. It hit me then. I'd once told him that house meant everything. After Mom died, Chase begged me to sell the place. He wanted to buy me a penthouse in Eastbrook. I refused. Told him every happy childhood memory lived under that roof. Truth was, I just didn't want to become a clinging vine. Needed to remember who I was. But even that story was a lie. I smiled and signed on the dotted line. Chase had no clue I hated that house. The happy memories were pure fiction. Tearing it down felt like justice. I moved into an $800 a month studio the next day. Tiny but complete, safe enough to spend whole days alone. Idle cash and empty hours tempt anyone into trouble. Sam, after binging soap marathons one night, I hit a dive bar and ordered a rented dancer. I regretted it the instant the money left my hand. Every swivel of his hips projected Chase's face onto my brain. When I finally shoved that image away, the real dancer looked worse by comparison. The letdown stung. I nursed 2 drinks, then fled, bored and bleak. A cold wind sobered me halfway. A block later, hunger steered Sam into a noodle joint. I never expected to run into Logan, my high school class, the only kid who'd stood up for me when the rest froze me out. He spotted me first, waving. "Joey." I paused, then walked over with a bright smile. "Class, small world." The moment the words left my mouth, his eyes flickered. "Joey, you've changed." He hesitated, then added, "You're not the girl I remember." I glanced down at myself. He was right. In school I'd stare at the floor, voice barely a whisper. Now I met his gaze and laughed. 9 years, class. Change is mandatory, right? He nodded, wistful. "Seeing you like this makes me happy." No fake note in it. No one here knew I'd once used his crush to survive. Shame pricked me. I'd leaned on his affection just to breathe easier in the hallway. Tonight I wanted to apologize. Back then Logan bolted upright, waving toward the door. "Riley, over here." I turned. A girl in a pink puffer coat hurried in. Once she reached us, Logan beamed. "Riley, my girlfriend." I stood and offered my hand. "Hi, I'm Joey, your guy's old classmate." Awkwardness thickened. Third wheeling across from a love-struck couple felt brutal. 2 bites of noodles, and I flagged the waiter for a to-go box. They begged me to stay. I dodged, added Riley on iMessage, promised we'd catch up later. Outside, I scolded myself. Too many romance dramas, obviously. For 30 seconds, I'd actually thought of confessing old sins. Thank God I hadn't. Humiliation averted. I lifted my eyes and spotted a girl in a scarlet mini dress a few yards away. On a street of black wool coats, she glowed like a siren. My gut said she was here for me. Her stare locked the second I stepped outside. Guesswork confirmed. 3 strides and she caught up. "I'm Chase's fiancée, Savannah. Got a minute?" I glanced at her goose-bumped arms and led her home. Inside, she surveyed the room and wrinkled her nose. Chase couldn't spring for something decent. I ditched the polite host routine. "Chase and I are finished." I said it level, no apology. Savannah's lips curled. "Forgive me if I don't buy it." She flicked my chin with a manicured fingertip, eyes cold. I expected some goddess who kept him hooked. Reality's underwhelming. She dropped onto the couch like she owned it. I repeated myself, slow and clear. "Believe what you want. We broke up. I won't play the other woman." A soft scoff. "You think I'm here to chase you off? Wrong. I'm here to ship you back to Eastbrook." I blinked. "Why?" Her eyes glittered with contempt. "I'm nothing like you. I'm not the kind of woman who becomes nothing once love walks out the door." Her voice dripped acid. "The only reason I'm with Chase is my family's business. Whether you're still with him or not means zero to me. I just don't want to watch my groom bolt halfway down the aisle on our wedding day." I understood. She figured I was staging some reverse psychology melodrama. I stayed quiet for a beat, then said, "Chase won't do that. He isn't a man who mistakes weight. He knows what matters. And he adores his mother. He'd never shame her." Savannah folded her arms, chin lifted like a general inspecting dirt. "Of course he won't. It's you I don't trust. Who's to say you won't pull some suicide stunt?" "Relax, I won't." She wagged a manicured finger. "Scheming girls like you? I don't buy the act." "Then I guess we're done here." I spread my hands. "Believe what you want, nothing I can do." Her eyes flickered. "Poor things like you dream of leaping up the golden branch. Natural enough. But remember your place." She kept going, voice syrupy with pity. "Honestly, I feel sorry for you. Humble roots, fought so hard to hook someone like Chase. Right now you're probably clinging to his thigh for dear life. Still, let me offer some advice. Don't expect a man to love you till the end of time. A woman's only real currency is her youth. Cash in while Chase still wants you. Squeeze out a few more years, bank the payout. I can add a fat bonus. Why not? Name the number. Just promise you'll scurry back to Eastbrook and stay on his arm until he's bored." A cold draft licked my spine. I glanced back. She'd left the door ajar when she swept in. When I faced her again, I let out a soft laugh. "Let me be straight. I'm not who you think. I never cared about love. I latched onto Chase for one reason, money for my mother's treatment. So don't worry, I'll haunt him. To me, he was nothing but a tool. I don't want your cash, and I'm not returning to Eastbrook. I won't play the other woman either. I'm not like you trust fund types. I still have a moral floor." She burst into laughter. "Ha ha." The sound felt like shattered glass. "No plans to be a mistress? Wasn't your mother one?" I snapped. "Shut your mouth." Savannah wouldn't stop. "Spare me the act. I read your file before I came. Mom was a mistress, daughter follows suit, like mother like daughter, right?" Smack. My palm stung in 1,000 pinpricks. Yes, my mother had been someone's mistress. I'd believed I hated her for it. Because of her, my school years were a daily hell. But when she got sick, I found I couldn't hate anymore. For her, I sold my body without a second thought. I became the sort who'd pay any price to get what she needed. And I despise anyone who throws that in my face. Believe me, I could crush you like an ant with one finger. Savannah cupped her reddening cheek. eyes wide with disbelief. Only then did I realize what I'd done. As I froze, she rose from the sofa and swung her arm to strike back. I shut my eyes and braced for the slap. Before it landed, a calm voice sliced through the doorway. "Enough!" Chase stepped inside. "Get out!" he barked at Savannah. Her eyes flushed crimson. On her way out, she hurled one last threat. "You'll both regret this." Once Savannah was gone, Chase lingered by the door, gaze drilling into me as if trying to read the fine print of my soul. "Everything you just said, was it true?" "Yes." I admitted it. No panic of lies exposed, only a strange relief. "I approached you for money, nothing more. Now you know. Go after her. Your fiancé can't have made it far." I'd sensed him outside the whole time. Those words were meant to draw a bright line between us. Surprisingly, he didn't chase Savannah. Instead, he walked over and dropped to one knee. He drew a velvet box from his coat and opened it. "I came today to propose. Whatever your reasons were, I love you, just you. Joey, will you marry me? I'll spend my whole life proving that love." Just as he reached to slide the solitaire ring onto my finger, I pulled my hand free. I turned my back to him. "But Chase, I don't love you. I've only ever loved money. If you really can't find a way to spend it all, then give me more." A long silence stretched before he stood. "Joey, I'm giving you one last chance. Say yes." I never looked back. "Taylor." I uncurled the fingers that had left half-moon dents in my palm. "Good." For a moment I'd almost been moved. But we've always lived on different planets. So I don't regret a thing. From now on I'll build a life, earn my own money, become whoever I choose. No input from Chase required. As for him, once he offered to keep me tucked away like a secret, he became nothing more than scenery. Thanks for tuning in to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed the video, like and share it with friends. We can't wait to read your comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.
I was alone at Riverdale getting my leg put in a cast when I broke it. My fiancé was across the hall, holding his neighbor's hand while she had an abortion. Later, he knelt in front of me, face swollen from slapping himself, begging for forgiveness. I hauled his things to the door and tossed them out one cold item at a time. "You're not sorry," I said. "You're only sorry you didn't hide it well enough for me to stay fooled." When I saw Derek at Riverdale, I wondered if he'd even recognize me without the mask. His eyes were too busy devouring the girl tucked under his arm. He guided her toward me, then frowned and tapped my wheelchair. "Miss, you're blocking the way, Riley." I lowered my gaze, gripped the wheels, and rolled aside in silence. 1 hour earlier, I'd been cleaning our new townhouse, a delivery carton in my arms obscuring the stairs. I missed the top step and crashed downward. I couldn't get up. Pain shot through my left ankle like a drill. Derek had left at dawn, muttering about weekend overtime. His office sat 5 minutes away. I called him, asked for a lift to Riverdale. He sent me to voicemail. A text popped up seconds later. "Vivian, slammed with the proposal. I'll call when I surface." I didn't answer. I dialed 911 instead. The X-ray showed a clean fracture, nothing catastrophic, just 6 to 8 weeks of stillness. A nurse wheeled in a chair for me. While the tech wrapped my ankle in plaster, I opened WhatsApp to type, "How much longer?" I was already worrying about furniture deliveries. Derek would have to supervise. Before I hit send, a voice I knew too well floated over. I looked up. Derek was helping Rosalind out of the OBGYN wing. He settled her into a chair and murmured, "Sit, rest. I'll pay the bill." Rosalind clung to his sleeve, eyes glassy. "Please, we really have to do this." My heart lurched. "Do what?" I tilted, straining to catch every syllable. Derek stroked her hair. "We agreed, remember? You're still in college. I'm about to marry Vivian. This baby can't happen." Thunder cracked inside my ribs. Rosalind was pregnant? And the father was Derek? My fingers clamped the chair arms until the skin blanched. Luckily, they were too wrapped up to notice me. Rosalind's tears dripped like broken beads. "But I don't want to. It's a part of me." "Can't we keep it?" "Derek, I'm getting married. I can't betray Vivian." Needles pricked every inch of my heart. The irony, impregnate the girl next door, then claim you can't betray me? "That's not what you said that night." Rosalind's voice jumped, drawing stares. Flushed, Derek yanked her collar and hissed, "We're not keeping it. Fight me and your monthly $5,000 allowance disappears." I remembered an automatic transfer I'd once spotted on his statement, $3,000 every month labeled investment. He'd sworn it was a mutual fund. With his mid-six-figure salary and my own content creator income, $3,000 hadn't seemed worth interrogating. Turns out it was hush money for Rosalind. She sobbed harder. "I'm not trying to blackmail you. I just love this baby because it's ours. Vivian's so cold and self-righteous, she won't even sleep with you. I've adored you forever. I don't care if I give you my first time or have your child. So Rosalind loved him. No wonder my instincts had bristled the moment we met. Derek had told me their families had been neighbors for 20 years. After the old district was razed, they'd bought condos directly across the new hall from each other. He claimed they bickered like true siblings. I never had a sister, he'd laughed. Rosalind's the pain-in-the-neck version. I'd teased that with closeness like that, their parents should have arranged a betrothal. He pretended to gag. Gross. She's the sister I'd love to throttle. Nothing romantic, swear. His tone had been so casual I'd shelved my doubts, until the first dinner at his place when Rosalind showed up. She squealed, "Wow, sis-in-law's gorgeous." "Derek, you lucked out." He flicked her forehead. "Obviously. Your sister-in-law's brilliant and hot. Try to learn something." Rosalind leapt onto his back, yanking his ears. Only 2 years younger, she wore a crop top and frayed shorts, tanned shoulders and long legs everywhere. Pressed against him, thighs locked around his waist, her breasts almost spilled out. I stood stiffly, brows knitting. Noticing my silence, Derek peeled her off. "Show some manners, my fiancé's here." Rosalind rolled her eyes, then beamed at me. "Don't be mad, sis. We've horseplayed since diapers. Old habits die hard." I forced a smile. "Mad? No. Uncomfortable as your brother's girlfriend?" "Yes," she muttered, uptight Qing Dynasty relic. Derek barked, "Zip it." Only then did she slink into the kitchen. That night, walking me home, I said, "Please set boundaries. You're not blood. Even real siblings keep their distance once grown." Derek chuckled. I was overreacting. Rosalind's basically a guy. I'd never hit on her. When I stayed quiet, he hugged me and whispered, "Okay, babe, I'll behave. No more roughhousing, promise." His lips grazed my neck, shivers raced through me. I pushed him away, cheeks burning. "We're in public." He sighed, then grinned. "Can't help teasing you. You blush like a peach, nothing like that tomboy." Truth, Rosalind was stunning. Only her sun-kissed skin kept her from classical snow-white perfection. Her curves could stop traffic. Hardly a tomboy. Campus gossip said she had a trail of suitors. I'm sure her adoration flattered Derek's ego. Sure enough, his expression melted into tenderness. His arm around Rosalind, Derek tried once more. "But if you keep the baby, you won't be able to finish school. You've only got 1 year left. Taking a leave now would be such a waste." "Alex, your parents would never agree." Rosalind listened, head lowered, saying nothing. Thinking she was relenting, he kissed her forehead. "Good girl. Trust me, okay? I'd never hurt you." Then he stood up and went to pay the bill. I watched Rosalind wipe her tears, rise, and clench her fist as though taking an oath. "Derek, I will never hurt our child." Then she ran. When Derek came back and found her gone, he exploded, sprinted out after her in a panic. The spectacle over, I finally had time to wallow in my own misery. Derek and I had been together 4 years. He started courting me the moment we entered college. I didn't open my heart until sophomore year. I'm a girl from a no-name county town, Rowan, plain-looking. My only strengths were good grades and a decent pen. By senior year of high school I'd already published in a dozen journals and magazines. Derek, on the other hand, was Riverdale born and bred. Add sunshine and good looks, wherever he walked, he was the center of gravity. When he confessed, I was genuinely stunned. My first instinct was to refuse, but Derek had sailed through life, a setback merely looked like a challenge. So he poured it on, pulling every trick in the book to win me. Morning rides, breakfast runs, saving me library seats, endless surprises and gifts, routine stuff. That year plenty of girls confessed to him. He shot them down flat. "Sorry, I'm already in love. I'm only human. I have my vanity." Faced with that kind of fierce, full-court press, I caved. Alex, Derek really was exceptional. Yearly scholarships, department ping-pong champ, top 10 vocalist. In short, brains and brawn, an all-rounder. That I surrendered to him wasn't the least bit surprising. About a year into our relationship he partnered on a software project. After they sold the copyright he cleared $800,000. He wired every cent to my account. I was slack-jawed. Back then $800K was a figure I couldn't even dream of. He tossed it over as if it were pocket change. Then, dead casual, keep it, call it husband's bride price savings. Derek's personality was open, sunny, those years with him almost rewired mine. I used to be timid, a little introverted, nursing an unacknowledged inferiority complex. But he praised me, propped me up, never spared the encouragement. Gradually I bought into the idea. I, Vivian, never need feel inferior, I deserve the best the world has to offer. I turned lively, outgoing. For that I'll always be grateful to Derek. He gave me the most brilliant youth imaginable. By graduation I had $170K socked away. All bride price, Derek had funneled to me in those 2 years. I added a bit of my own and, in both our names, put a down payment on a townhouse near his company. That time it was Derek's turn to gape. Babe, I'll handle the house. That money was your safety net, why'd you? I laughed. Once the cash is mine, how I spend it is my call. He went quiet, stared a long time, then hugged me hard. Vivian, I'll work even harder and give you more. The sweeter the past, the crueler the present. I wiped my tears and texted Derek. When you're done, come to my place. We need to talk. My rental sat outside the third ring. No downtown sparkle, sketchy amenities. Derek had nagged me to move in with him countless times. I always refused. My job is writing novels and running content creator channels from home. No morning commute means I only care about comfort and cleanliness. Alex, our new townhouse was almost finished. We'd move in after the wedding, sparing ourselves endless packing. Derek grumbled but went along. All these years he'd indulged my every whim, which is why it never crossed my mind the man had already strayed. He arrived to find me reading on the couch. I'd given him a key ages ago. Sometimes I pull all-nighters for deadlines, and he'd swing by at dawn with breakfast, tidy up, then head to the office. Who wouldn't call that a model boyfriend? The truth? The core had already rotted. Derek looked wrecked, shirt wrinkled, 2 buttons gone. His hair was mussed, right cheek flushed red. I could guess what happened. No parent takes kindly to the guy who knocks up their daughter. My leg cast made him flinch. Vivian, what happened to your leg? I shrugged, fell down the stairs, ankle fracture. Was that why you called this morning? At last a flicker of shame crossed his face. He sat, resting his head on my shoulder. Sorry, Vivian, today's been insane. I smiled without exposing him. With a broken leg I wasn't about to provoke a fight I couldn't physically handle. Besides, I needed time to plan how we'd split our assets, starting with the townhouse. The down payment came from my card, yet most of the cash originated from him. Legally I'd never claw that back. Fortunately I'd kept receipts for the extra I chipped in and for the renovation, thanks to my own paranoia. Without those slips, the looming tug-of-war would be a nightmare. Lost in thought, I jumped when his phone rang. He fished it out, face tightening. Straightening, he answered, yeah? Then he slipped onto the balcony, voice low until it shot up, 2 million just to get her to the hospital? Why don't you rob a bank? Realizing his volume, he slammed the call dead, yanked on his shoes, snatched his keys, and bolted. Vivian, another fire at work. Get some rest, I'll bring dinner later. He raced off to mop up his mess, forgetting the phone on the shoe cabinet. For years together, trust and respect had stayed mutual, we'd never snooped. Today, for the first time, curiosity bit me. What did this perfect man look like behind the curtain? His passcodes are all my birthday. I opened his WhatsApp in seconds and found Rosalind. Scrolling their chat, I shook so hard I could barely hold the screen. I'd assumed they'd only recently crossed the line. Turns out they hooked up an entire year ago. The summer we graduated, the same week Derek joined that big tech campus in Riverdale while I chose the freelance life. Derek was elated. He rented an apartment near his office and invited me to move in with him so he could take care of me. I refused. His face darkened, but he didn't push. He simply didn't call for 2 days. Later, after I signed the lease on that same building, I rang him. He was stunned, then touched. The little storm blew over. But tonight, scrolling through his WhatsApp with Rosalind, the truth struck me like a slap. Those 2 silent days he'd spent in her bed. I can't tell who started it, the texts only let me glimpse the edges. Derek told Rosalind that after 3 years I still wouldn't sleep with him, wouldn't even move in. She's so old school, he wrote. At first I thought it was sweet, but now it's just boring. On that score, Vivian can't compete with you, Rosalind. Rosalind shot back, then why stay with her? His answer was short and razor sharp, haven't scored yet. Dump her now, total loss. I shook so hard tears blurred the screen, it took 3 tries to hit the home button. Derek, you knew exactly why I held back. Derek lived through the bleakest month of his life. Mornings he clocked in at work, at lunch he raced home with takeout. Nights he cooked, washed, folded, swept. Meanwhile Rosalind made him pay. While he showered or slept I sneaked his phone. In 30 days he'd wired her more than $100,000, begging her to end the pregnancy. She'd take the money, swear she'd book the clinic, then back out. He looked wrecked. Several times he opened his mouth, then shut it again, almost confessing. I pretended not to notice. Even felt a sordid thrill watching him squirm. A month later I returned to Riverdale to have the leg cast removed. The young resident studied the x-ray and nodded approvingly. Healing perfectly, just no load bearing yet. I answered automatically, my eyes fixed on his face behind the wire-rim glasses. That face, familiar. You went to Riverside, right? Class 3? I ventured. He lifted his gaze and smiled, gentle and amused. Last time you limped out without a word. Thought you'd forgotten me, Vivian. I rushed to apologize. Sorry, really. You were masked last visit, I didn't recognize you. Dr. Hartley had been the grade above me, valedictorian to my salutatorian. We were rivals, not friends. Funny that he'd landed in Riverdale too. Both visits you're solo, no family, no friends? I pressed my lips shut. He caught the cue and let it drop. Daily life should be fine, but no running or jumping. Walk as little as possible. Massage the muscles nightly so they don't atrophy. I thanked him and reached for the door when he called after me. Add me on WhatsApp, Vivian. If anything flares up, ping me. When I let myself into the townhouse, the living room was packed. Jordan, Rosalind, her parents, everyone. Derek stood frozen, eyes wide with terror. I eased onto the couch, smile bright. Well, look at the crowd. I turned to Derek, still smiling. Your parents are guests and you haven't even offered water? Fruit's in the fridge, wash some and bring it out. He scurried off like a chastened kid. His mother bristled. Vivian, you order our little Derek around a lot. At home I don't let him touch a dish. Here he's your errand boy? I dropped my gaze, sheepish. True, sometimes. But if I don't give him chores he sulks. Her face soured. There are limits. He works all day, then comes back to cook and clean? Don't you know how to cherish him? What kind of girlfriend are you? I widened my eyes in mock epiphany. Oh, that's what you meant, my apologies. I'm dense, unless people spell it out. I missed the hint. I raised my voice. Derek, come rest. It's only a fracture, nothing major. I'll wash the fruit. Cameron shouted from the kitchen, stay parked, lady, seriously. His mother swallowed her next words, fuming. Rosalind, who'd been sizing me up, gave a cold laugh. Enjoy commanding my big brother? Think he can't live without you? I stayed silent. Derek hurried back, shoved an apple into her hand. Chew, don't talk. The warning zipped past her. She rose and faced Jordan. Uncle, Auntie, you deserve the truth. Derek and I. Derek exploded, clamping a hand over her mouth. Shut up. Now. Her parents vaulted up. No one touches their daughter. Her mother seized Derek's collar, slapping him. You little bastard. You assault my girl then manhandle her? Let go, move. Jordan stood stunned. The two families had been inseparable for decades, never a raised voice, let alone a fist. Derek's mom lunged between them. Sis, calm down. We came to visit Derek's girlfriend, not brawl. We watched these kids grow up, you know their character. What could Derek have done that's so unforgivable? Rosalind's mom spun and slapped Mrs. Mother square in the face. Character? Spare me. Look at the angel you raised. The two matriarchs clawed into a hair-pulling heap. I remained on the sofa, legs crossed, munching popcorn without the popcorn. Then Rosalind shrieked, hands off my stomach, I'm pregnant. Silence dropped like a guillotine. Crunch. I bit my apple, slow and sweet. Derek's mom panted, eyes bulging. Little Rose, you're pregnant? When? How? You're still in college. Rosalind's mom collapsed wailing, beating her chest. Sin. Sin. That beast Derek raped my girl. Derek stood chalk-white, speechless. His own mother sank to the carpet, whispering, "No, impossible." Rosalind rolled her eyes at her mother. "Stop it. Nobody raped anybody. Derek and I love each other." "Shut your mouth, you disgrace," her mother screeched, pounding the floor. "Explain, now." Derek's mom shook him by the shoulders, every word insinuating the Zhaos had set a trap. "Perfect." I wanted the gory details of how this romance began, but Derek only hung his head, hollow-eyed, and said nothing at all. Rosalind cleared her throat. "Let me do the talking." She stared at me, face glowing with triumph. "My brother says Vivian is boring as dishwater. Wake up, it's the 21st century. Ever heard of a trial marriage? She wouldn't sleep with him for 4 whole years. He's a red-blooded man, how was he supposed to survive that?" Her parents were already hiding their faces. She didn't notice. She ranted on, "My brother loves that I'm passionate, that I let go. He's told me again and again being with me is so much hotter than being with you. Vivian, you thought 4 years on his arm made you the winner? I'm carrying my brother's baby, what have you got?" She had a point. I could never beat her at shamelessness. I tossed my apple core into the trash and looked straight at Derek. Is every word she said true? Crimson with shame, Derek mumbled, "Vivian, it's not what you think, just let me explain." "Fine, go ahead and explain. I'm listening." Before he could speak, his mother rushed over and grabbed my hand. "Vivian, you and Little D have so many years together, don't let a tiny thing ruin it. Auntie promises this ends here. You won't have to deal with any of it, I'll clean everything up, alright?" The truth was she'd never really liked me. Every other sentence made it clear my embarrassing family background disgusted her. My parents divorced when I was small, Mom dragged me through 3 remarriages. At 17 her 4th husband almost raped me. She screamed and beat him until he ran. Then she crouched beside my sobbing self and begged me not to call the police. I said nothing, just packed and moved out. If I'd stayed I would have ended up dead or insane. I studied like a maniac, wrote articles, cashed checks. I was going to put myself through college. Things turned out okay. I'd told Derek all of this. He knew exactly why I dreaded that kind of intimacy. Yet he still used it as an excuse to betray me. I sighed, squeezed his mother's hand. "Auntie, you and I no longer get to decide this." I glanced at Rosalind and her parents. "She's pregnant. You're the kind of people who could order your own grandchild aborted, right?" Derek's mother hesitated. I knew her psychology inside out. My family might be trash, but I was a top-tier university graduate, industrious and presentable, with a respectable career. Compared to Rosalind, who barely clawed her way into a third-rate college, I was clearly the better deal. Alex, cutting ties with my relatives meant no meddling in-laws, someone she could steer in the future. That's why she'd approved my engagement to Derek. Rosalind's personality might be fun for a goddaughter. As a daughter-in-law? She felt her son deserved better. If it were only Rosalind, the choice would be easy. The problem, Rosalind was already pregnant. However ruthless, she couldn't bring herself to demand an abortion. After weighing it, she clenched her teeth. "Vivian, this child is still Derek's, our grandchild. I haven't the heart. You young people dread pain and refuse to give birth, right? Let Rosalind carry this one for you. Every expense is on us. The country allows second and third kids now. Later, if you want your own, you and Derek can have another." I was dumbstruck. My shattered, "Wow, just wow. Hire a mistress to birth your baby." Such cutting-edge thinking left me in the dust. Derek panicked. "Mom. When did I ever say I want this kid? Make her terminate. I'll pay." Rosalind's father raised his fist and lunged to hit Derek. "Say that again, you bastard, try me." Rosalind's face went white. "Bro. You told me our parents would never agree, that's why you wanted me to abort. But now my parents okay my leave, your mom okays the birth, why are you still telling me to end it? It's your child, how can you be so heartless?" Derek jerked his neck. "Say it's mine and I'm the father? You sleep with me, who knows who else you sleep with? We screwed for over a year with nothing, and you get knocked up right when I'm about to marry? You want a sucker, I'm not that dumb." Rosalind froze. She shrieked and clawed at Derek's face. "Dare you do a paternity test? Dare you, you son of a bitch? I'll kill you. Fueled by rage, Rosalind fought like a demon. Seconds later, Derek's face was streaked with blood. I turned away and covered my face, afraid I'd burst out laughing. From the day I realized Rosalind wanted Derek, I posted several Instagram stories visible only to her every single day. All of them featured Derek cooking for me, giving me massages, coddling me. I used to keep those moments private between us, but with Rosalind pregnant and hormonal, seeing Derek ice her out, desperate to cut ties. Of course those posts would drive her crazy. If she hadn't exploded today, how could I dump the scum so effortlessly? Rosalind's parents weren't idle either, yelling that Derek must take responsibility. The living room dissolved into chaos. Enough. A cold bark silenced everyone for a heartbeat. Mr. Father, silent until now, finally spoke. He walked up and bowed deeply to me. We're truly sorry. We will keep this child. Vivian, your marriage to our son probably can't happen. We've wronged you, but please rest assured, our family will compensate you. Every drop of color left Derek's face. Dad. What are you saying? I'm marrying Vivian, I'm getting married. His father strode over and slapped him hard. Can't keep your pants zipped, what right do you have to marry her? Get out of here and stop disgracing us. Thanks to Mr. Father, I enjoyed a whole week of peace. Derek didn't come harass me, Rosalind didn't stir trouble. 7 days later Mr. Father summoned me to the county notary office. We've paid off the mortgage on that townhouse. We've signed it over. When the new deed issues, only your name will appear. Vivian, it's the least we owe you, tiny compensation for everything. I took the keys without guilt. No one argues with money. Another week rolled by when Rosalind's Instagram popped up on my feed. A snapshot of a huge diamond ring. Engaged. Who says childhood sweethearts can't beat destiny? Followed by several smug emojis. I curved my lips in a smile. Perfect. Please, you two, lock yourselves together tightly. Then I deleted Rosalind. I simply wanted nothing more to do with them, but Derek interpreted that small act as proof I still couldn't let go. That day I went back to the hospital for a checkup. Dr. Hartley said I was healing well, basically free to move around. Walk half an hour a day, it helps the muscles. And don't forget the massages. I laughed and bounced on my toes. Finally back to normal, I felt like I was resting solid. Dr. Hartley barked, bones just fused, no jumping yet. Yes, sir. Doctor's orders. He laughed and nudged his glasses. You're a lot more animated than you were in high school, he said. What do you mean I wasn't animated? He tilted his head, thought for a moment, and laughed softly. During breaks you'd plant yourself against the railing and stare into space. Always alone. You never had a real clique. I looked up at him, suspicious. He cleared his throat. Riverside's #1 brain, who didn't keep tabs on you? Then he glanced out the window and changed the subject. It's coming down hard. At this hour the entrance to Riverdale's a taxi desert. If you're not in a hurry, give me 5 minutes to clear up and I'll drive you. Before I could refuse he was already on his feet, shrugging off his white coat. I peered through the glass at the sheets of rain and swallowed the refusal. Dr. Hartley delivered me to my door. The instant my shoes hit the curb I froze. Derek stood in the downpour, eyes locked on me like a vice. Vivian, who the hell is he? Dr. Hartley held an umbrella over both of us. Need help? He murmured. I shook my head. I'm good. Thanks for the lift, head back to Riverdale before you're missed. I can handle this. He gave a small nod. Call if anything changes. I dipped my chin. Then I turned to Derek. Perfect timing. Your stuff's packed. Take it and go. Everything he owned sat boxed in a corner of the living room. When he saw the neat pile, the composure he'd been clinging to cracked. He dropped to his knees and started slapping himself. I'm scum, I know. But Vivian, I love you. Please forgive me. I exhaled softly. Aren't you engaged to Rosalind? Derek froze, regret crawled over his face. My parents forced that. Vivian, if you say yes, I'll break it off right now. I said nothing. He shuffled closer on his knees and grabbed my hand. I'm sorry, so sorry. I never loved Rosalind, she was just noise. It's always been you. Pathetic. He still didn't realize I'd already pieced together the disgusting truth from their stray messages. I yanked my hand away and hurled his belongings onto the porch. Your regret? It's just that you didn't hide the proof better. Otherwise you two wouldn't have slept together for over a year until she got pregnant. His eyes dimmed. Can't we go back, Vivian? Go, Derek. And don't come back. He gave a bitter laugh. Why are you so cold? How can you cut us off like we never mattered? Did you ever love me? For a heartbeat I drifted. For years ago, the day I accepted his confession, he spun me around the quad, dizzy with joy, barely used to male touch. I swallowed my panic and hugged him, hiding the tears glinting in my eyes. Software engineers keep weird hours. Sometimes he remembered me only after midnight. I fought off sleep just to hear his voice. His stomach was delicate. Over the years I learned to stew soups, to fold intricate dumplings, anything to keep him away from greasy takeouts. True, I rarely whispered sweet nothings, but I never shortchanged him. Are quiet feelings any less real? No point explaining now. If he couldn't feel my love in all that time, words today would be useless. Watching the color drain from his face, I whispered, maybe because I've always known the only person I can rely on is myself. He nodded slowly. I get it. Safe trip. Don't expect a goodbye. I turned, blinking away the tears, then opened WhatsApp and deleted Derek with one swipe. The door clicked shut. Outside, a low, venomous voice slid through the crack. Vivian, be honest, you wanted this breakup long ago, didn't you? My heart lurched. I spun around. Derek hadn't left. He'd eased the door shut behind him. His face was storm black, and he advanced step by step. Who was that guy? New boyfriend? Or have you been cheating all along? Talk. By the last word his eyes bulged, veins corded at his temples, utterly terrifying. My legs weakened. Stupid, I shouldn't have sent Dr. Hartley away. He's just my doctor, I stammered, forcing softness into my voice. I had a follow-up. He saw the rain and my bad leg and gave me a ride. He didn't buy it. Doctors are too busy for chauffeur service. Since when did you become such a liar, Vivian? He clawed at his hair in anguish. We were perfect, almost married. Heat flared in his tone, panic clamped my chest. I inched toward the door. He clutched his head, lost in memories. My fingers brushed the handle. Fistful of hair yanked me back. My skull cracked against hardwood. Stars burst behind my eyes. Derek pinned me, eyes bloodshot. Don't blame me. I never had you. I won't lose now. Maybe once we sleep together you'll stay. His hand went for my jeans button. Blood roared in my ears. I came awake screaming. Derek, don't. If you're still human, back off. He ignored me, teeth raking my neck. I was 17 again, skinny and powerless, a man mountain crushing me, until Mom walked in. But I'm not that girl now. I stretched, fingers scraping the coffee table until they closed on the utility knife I used to slit delivery cartons. Sam, the blade sank with a wet pop, warm blood spattered my face. Derek held, collapsing, the slim metal handle jutting from his lower back. Vivian. Answer me, what's going on in there? Dr. Hartley pounded the door. I crawled, shaking, and cracked it open. Call 911, and an ambulance. The wound looked worse than it was, plenty of blood, but only skin and muscle, no organs. I pressed charges, attempted rape. In court Derek stared at me blankly, never offered a defense. Verdict, self-defense for me, 3 years for him. When Rosalind heard Derek was jailed, she fainted and tumbled down the stairs, miscarrying their 3-month fetus. I never asked what came next. I left Riverdale for Kingstown. Freelancers can work anywhere. 6 months later, grocery bags in hand, I spotted a familiar silhouette outside my new apartment. Dr. Hartley? What are you doing here? His smile stayed gentle and unassuming. Riverdale's opening a satellite branch in Kingstown. I requested the transfer. Am I intruding? I laughed under my breath. Not at all. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you liked it, hit like and share it with friends. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.
We'd been together 7 years when, the night before the wedding, Chase informed me that my gown was being lent to his assistant. Mia's mother is critical, days, maybe hours. The only thing she wants is to see her daughter find a safe harbor, so I promised her. He stopped, waiting for my reaction. Turned out it wasn't only the dress. My groom and my entire wedding were on loan too. How entertaining. Seeing the mockery on my face, impatience flashed across his brow. It's just a show for her mom. When it's over we'll still get married, won't miss market open. Don't always be so. Sure. I cut him off, agreeable. Head down, I thumbed a reply. You win. Bring the gown you ordered tomorrow and come get me. He answered in a second. Your call, you're honoring the bet. Don't claim fraud later. I could picture the exact grin and tone he wore while typing. A laugh escaped. Chase's anxious voice buzzed in my ear. You really said yes? You're not mad. Why are you laughing? I looked up, puzzled. Expected me to be angry? If you knew it would, why do it? A flicker of guilt crossed his face. I was surprised. You've never liked Mia, figured you'd refuse. I laughed softly. This routine had played out too many times. On my birthday, Chase reserved my favorite steakhouse a month ahead. The server who brought our plates. Mia. He seized her wrist, demanding why she hadn't come to him if she needed help. I watched them tug of war right in front of me, him torn between anger and pity, her eyes red. Work itself is draining and you're moonlighting? Can't you take better care of yourself? Sorry, Mr. Sterling, I didn't know you'd be here. You've helped so much, I can't keep leaning on you. What nonsense. You're my staff, of course I protect you. If you'd run into some thug instead of me, what then? Not until I stood and shut the private room door behind me did they snap back to reality. Later he doubled her salary and forbade any side gigs. Then came our 7th anniversary. I'd booked flights, the hotel, even scored sold-out park passes through every connection I had. Halfway to JFK, one call from Mia scrubbed the itinerary. His explanation never varied. She's had it rough. Outside the hospital that day I erupted in the car. Is her hardship my fault? Why does she always outrank me? Who's your girlfriend, anyway? The look he gave was pure stranger. Serena, when did you become like this? You used to be so kind. I shoved the door open and walked out. That night Mia's mom met Chase, and the flawless care he showered on her daughter. Inside that ward ever after, Chase was Mia's boyfriend. And tomorrow he will become her groom. I surfaced from memory, said nothing, and began packing an overnight bag. Watching me, Chase looked vindicated. See? Knew the Saint Act couldn't last. Pre-wedding walk-off to strong-arm me? Bad math. I keep promises. Mia gets what I promised. There was even a lilt of satisfaction in his tone. I couldn't be bothered decoding it. Think bigger. Tomorrow the groom fetches me. Tonight I sleep at my parents' like any bride. Without another glance I wheeled my case outside. Serena! His hand clamped my wrist, too tight. I frowned. Relax at your folks. I'll be there on the dot tomorrow, don't worry. I studied the man I'd dated since college. Sometime along the way his eyes had filled with shadows I couldn't read, panic, guilt, spurts of cocky triumph. No longer mattered. Tomorrow he marries his bride, I marry mine. He bent to kiss me, I pivoted away. Late. I'm going home. I'll deliver the gown to Mia and, while I'm at it, give you a ride. His voice carried a smug little hook. He waited for me, as usual, to pounce on the phrase while I'm at it. I didn't bother turning. My answer floated back on the wind. No need. Dad's driver is here. The instant I spoke, a Rolls-Royce coasted to the curb. The chauffeur opened the rear door. Miss, Madam's soup is waiting. Chase's silhouette stiffened. Lying in my childhood bedroom, I opened Instagram. There, tagged for the world, was the gown I'd sketched, sourced, and hand-beaded. Tomorrow I marry you. The dress is gorgeous. I adore it. Thanks for always having my back. Let's spend our lives together. Mia wore my gown in Eastbrook's penthouse suite, snapping photos in a mirror bright as a spotlight. A sliver of suit fabric crept into frame. Only Chase had commented, "Looking forward to your care too." Mia replied with a bashful emoji. Smiling thinly, I typed, "Happy wedding." Seconds later a voice text arrived from Chase. Mia's just giving her mom something to see, no malice, so quit the sarcasm. Mia DM'd me, Serena, don't be mad. After tomorrow I'll return the dress unharmed, every bead safe. I answered, keep it. Then I powered down, ready to sleep. A sudden tap 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 came at my window. A decade-old memory flooded back. I slid the sash up, the face outside meshed with the boy I once knew. What are you doing here? Julian's grin was pure trouble, visiting my bride. The 7-year marathon had been supposed to end with me marrying Chase. But his antics had grown so obvious even outsiders could read the balance sheet. The asset called loyalty had been written down to zero. I'd stalled, and as the date approached, Julian tried everything to stop me. At last he'd bet me, if the ceremony goes off without a single stunt, I'll back off and give him another chance. The second you get screwed, though, you marry me, just to spite him. I'd agreed, half last warning to Chase, half razor to cut myself free. Julian broke the silence, jittery. You chickening out? Say the word and I'm gone, no hard feelings. But if that jerk keeps walking all over you and you just take it, I swear I'll be the first to slap some sense into you. I answered him through the window pane. No take-backs. I'm marrying you tomorrow. The words hung there for a second, startling both of us. We'd said the same thing dozens of times when we were kids. If he hadn't left for college overseas, our families probably would have pushed us into a merger-style engagement long ago. Serena, sleep tight. Tomorrow, sit pretty and wait for me. Good night. I slept like the dead and dreamed a flood of dreams. Scholarship heartthrob chasing Riverdale's golden heiress, this is nuclear level juicy. Serena, I'll work until I deserve you. Serena, the day my company goes public, marry me, okay? Vans XIAOWAN. I turn my back for 2 minutes and someone spirits you away? That guy screams performative empathy. Don't fall for it. Once he's powerful enough, he'll trade up, watch me be right. Serena, don't get the wrong idea. I was just exhausted from taking care of my mom and crashed in the CEO's lounge last night. Serena, the CEO is worn out too, you should baby him more instead of catfighting with me. It's tacky. Look, time to drop the heiress tantrums. Not everyone was born with a silver spoon, try walking a mile in normal shoes. I got here on grit. Your dad's cash was just an investment, win-win. Don't paint me as some kept man. When I woke, my phone showed 99 Instagram notifications. Mia's latest post had detonated, likes and comments pouring in, mostly from Sterling Digital employees in Chase's circle. Rowan, guess we'll be calling you co-owner Mia, take care of us little guys. Sis, look after Chase, he's a workaholic who needs someone to notice when he's hungry. Exactly. He's already stretched thin, don't let him waste energy on pointless drama. My ringtone cut through the noise. Serena, you holding up? Tiffany was a scholarship kid my mom sponsored. She worked at Sterling Digital. I'm fine. What's wrong? Her voice crackled with fury. It's disgusting. Last night Chase had ed the whole company, ordering everyone to like and comment on Mia's post. HR even DM'd stragglers telling them to jump on it the second they woke up. They're grinding your face into the pavement. So that's how he played it. I soothed her, voice low. Don't worry, I've got this. Ever think of jumping ship? Sterling might be in for choppy waters. Tiffany gasped, then whispered, I copy that resignation letter coming up. After I showered and headed downstairs, Dad was at the table reading the journal. He glanced up when he heard me. Old enough to know better yet still impulsive? If Julian hadn't tipped me off, I'd have wired Sterling's Series C this morning. I raised you to absorb punches? I draped an arm around his shoulders and cooed, I need to grow up. Some battles I have to fight myself, not send my parents in first. Mom set down my latte with a matching scowl. Your father's right. Swapping grooms without a board meeting, lucky it's Julian. If it were some random, how would we clean it up? I stuck out my tongue and obediently sipped. You absolutely sure? Dad pressed. His stock just listed, big deals inked. If I pull the round now, it won't kill Sterling, but it'll slit an artery. You won't come crying later. I couldn't blame him for double-checking. Once Sterling's revenue started climbing, Chase announced he no longer needed Vance capital. Cue a cash flow cliff and a fast track to Chapter 11. I'd come home at 2 a.m., begging Dad to reinsure the company. He'd wired the rescue, and Chase's thank you had tasted more of salt than sugar. I set the cup down with a soft clink. Dad. The levity slid off my face. I'm sure. From this moment, Chase is dead to me and to this family. Approval flickered in Dad's eyes, Mom's brows puckered. What about Julian? Are you marrying him to punish Chase? I won't let my daughter weaponize her wedding vows. I hesitated. Marrying Julian wasn't pure impulse. Love might still be on layaway, but we could earn it post-wedding. Most important, I already knew he fit. Relax, Mom. I know what I'm doing. Chase's ceremony with Mia had started, held in Eastbrook's biggest ballroom, the decor I'd personally negotiated with the planner for a solid month. I watched the live stream. Mia's smile bloomed like spring, zero trace of the terminally ill mother narrative. An idea flashed. I speed-dialed a number. When the call ended, the feed showed Chase kissing. She knew exactly how much this wedding meant to Mia. The officiant's voice ran through the cues beside her ear, and he and Mia began their vows. His thoughts tangled. Last night's image of Serena walking away flashed through his mind again. Panic struck without warning, and he misread the vows 3 times. Once he even called the bride Serena. At last the reception ended and, checking his watch, Chase figured he still had time to race to the Vance estate and pick her up. Mia caught his arm. Mr. Sterling, my mom got a little emotional. She's not stable right now. Could you stay with me a bit longer? Chase looked at the girl on the verge of tears. They had come this far. He couldn't let it all fall apart. The memory of that kiss, the one that had momentarily bewitched him, made him nod before he could stop himself. Mia thanked him shyly, rose on tiptoe, and packed his lips. When he finally remembered to call and tell Serena not to worry, only 5 minutes remained until market open. The earpiece delivered an icy recorded voice, number unreachable. Serena had blocked him. Chase bolted for the door and saw Serena, radiant in a wedding gown, being helped out of a Rolls-Royce. Serena! She flicked a glance his way, calm and glass-smooth, then slipped her hand through the arm of the man beside her and smiled up at him. Julian spotted Chase as well. The bodyguards he'd planted seized him fast. Serena! I came to get you. I'm here. You can't marry him. Pathetic. Arm in arm, he and Serena walked into the ballroom. Midway, Julian leaned to her ear, lips curled in a smile that never reached his eyes. If you even think of pulling a walk-off stunt, I'll broadcast every embarrassing thing you did as a kid and leave you mortified. Chase watched, eyes bloodshot. How could she marry someone else on what should have been their day? Vance and Hale relatives streamed in, seeing Chase in a white tux and boutonniere, pinned by bodyguards. They whispered non-stop. What's going on? Isn't Serena marrying Julian? Why is there another groom? You didn't hear? CEO Sterling married his assistant today and now wants to wreck Serena's wedding. How vicious can a man get? Marry within your tier, always. Serena and her parents treated him like gold, yet he lent her wedding gown to his assistant and married the girl. Talk about sick. Lend a wedding gown? Get an exorcist and stay away from Serena. He's a listed company CEO and still borrows gowns? Beyond tacky. The comments turned Chase's face green then white. No, today Serena and I are supposed to marry. The thing with Mia isn't real. Julian stole her. Someone who knew the inside story snorted, spare us. The only reason Serena put up with you this long is kindness. Everyone's seen you two playing footsie, lipstick on your headrest, earrings on the carpet. Don't insult us by pretending you didn't know. You were flat out bullying her with obedience drills. Chase opened his mouth several times but couldn't find a gap. He knew they were telling the truth. He had wanted to pressure Serena, make her more compliant. But he had never crossed any line with Mia. Mia glided over in her gown and stood beside him, indignant for the crowd. Don't sling mud, Mr. Sterling and I are innocent. He was only helping me, and Serena agreed. If she chose to marry someone else, that's her idea, I don't know why. In short, Mr. Sterling did nothing wrong. Her voice peaked at the end, as though the crowd were bullying her. Sweetie, I've seen manipulators of your level before. At least take off the gown that isn't yours before you lie. The man's worthless anyway, go ahead, keep him, but those diamonds on the skirt are real. Even if the dress can't be reused, it's not going to a side piece for free. Mia flushed crimson and looked at Chase for rescue. He stood frozen, brain looping one line, Serena is marrying someone else, Julian, the guy who despised him and had known her since kindergarten. Panic and rage collided inside him. Serena had played him, pretending to agree while plotting to wed another. When the onlookers had had their fill and filed inside, only Mia, the two bodyguards, and he remained at the entrance. Mia's eyes darted. She soothed him softly. Don't be mad. I think Serena is only staging this to punish you. She loves you, how could she bear to marry another? Don't interfere, once she vents, she'll come back. The words settled his chaotic heart a little. Right, Serena loved him, she'd never once suggested breaking up. This sudden twist had Julian's fingerprints all over it. If Julian and Serena were ever going to happen, it would have happened long before he entered the picture. The guy was just a prop in her revenge act, no match for him. So he'd married Mia, and she'd married Julian, call it even. Classic heiress tantrum, she couldn't stomach the smallest loss. Still, the thought that she and Julian might merely be putting on a show did nothing to cool his anger. After today he would teach her a lesson, she couldn't fool around with something as serious as a wedding. They'd worked so hard to reach this point, she mustn't derail it all over a fit of jealousy. His arrangement with Mia was legitimate, hers with Julian was not. Julian stepped out. He smirked at Chase. Let me guess, you think Serena's marrying me just to spite you? Chase's face supplied the answer. TCH. I hate letting trash spoil a perfect day, but you might as well watch closely. Behave, or else. He flicked a signal, the guards half-pushed Chase into the hall. Only then did Chase truly look at Serena on the dais, breathtaking. The gown she wore outshone even the one she'd sketched herself, framing her like starlight. The man who should be standing there was him. A sharp ache spread through Chase's chest. He would consult the astrologers again, choose an even luckier market open. He would throw her a ceremony grander than this one. Then came the vow exchange, usually just boilerplate. Yet in Serena's eyes Chase saw nothing but steel resolve. Each syllable of that soft, honeyed voice was a needle in his heart. Fine, he and Mia were stuck in the same trap, he would just endure it. The vows were barely finished when the guests began to chant. Kiss! Kiss! Chase's face darkened. These people had zero sense of boundaries. His Serena, how could she kiss another man? No problem, he told himself, Serena would dodge it. He knew her, but the next second froze him in place. Julian tipped Serena's chin up and kissed her, slow and deliberate. She didn't turn away, she even closed her eyes and sank into it. Julian nipped her lower lip, murmured something. She swatted at him in mock annoyance, then smiled. Chase's pupils shook, his lungs felt ready to detonate. How could this happen? The certainty he'd worn like armor cracked. She really was done with him. The bodyguard felt his lurch and clamped harder on his arm. Chase had no idea how he survived the rest of the ceremony. When he finally walked out of the hotel, hollow-eyed, his phone rang. Chase, bad news. Ms. Vance just announced she's pulling the round, 3 partners already want out. You have to come back. Pulling the round? The mega projects he just closed all depended on Vance's money. If they stalled and he missed delivery, the penalty clauses would bury him. Only then did it sink in, Serena didn't merely want him gone, her entire family had axed him. Back at the office, messages stormed in. The day's freefall still hadn't ended, and he couldn't pinpoint when Serena had decided to detonate it. He needed answers, but cash flow came first. He filed emergency loan requests with every bank. If the credit landed, he could breathe. Mia slipped behind his chair and set her fingertips on his temples. Relax, you'll fix this. Serena's so petty, taking it out on your company? After all you've slogged. Chase snapped his eyes open and flung her hand away. What happens between her and me is ours. You don't get a vote. Mia's lip trembled, wounded. I'm just worried. I'm panicking too, but I believe in you, this is only a hiccup. Chase shut his lids again, her pep talk was white noise. Her horizons were postage stamp narrow, an investor yanked, cash dried up, pipelines froze, and years of graft could collapse. A hiccup? She understood nothing. He had zero wish to explain. He flicked his wrist. Out. Mia pivoted, hope fizzing, when he added, wait. She spun back, smile blooming, then wilting. Get Serena's wedding gown back. Now. Resentment flashed across Mia's eyes. She'd banked on Serena's pride-sparking tantrums that would repel Chase forever, turning her own sham marriage into the real thing. Instead, Serena had coolly swapped grooms, leaving Chase shell-shocked and her plan in tatters. When she went to collect the dress, her mother pounced. Well? Did Chase dump that Vance brat? When's he marrying you? Lock it down fast, if he backpedals later, a divorce still gets you half. Mia, already at boiling point, snarled, stop scheming. He's desperate to win Serena back, he only wants the gown returned. Rings and certificates are not happening. Mrs. Cameron gaped. Useless girl. I faked tubes and paperwork for months. A shriek cut her off. The diamonds on this dress, gone. Did you pry them out? Put them back. Her mother flinched, then blustered, don't accuse me. Maybe they scraped off in the car. One look at the woman's face confirmed it. Mia hissed, hand them over, maybe I can still look halfway responsible. Her mother jutted her chin. Already fenced them. In the end, Mia bought fake rocks and glued them on. When Chase inspected the gown, he only stared through it, seeing nothing. She exhaled in secret relief. I was curled on the couch streaming a movie while Julian fed me bite-sized fruit. Sterling circling the drain. Feeling vindicated yet? The plot had me hooked. Who? He smiled, indulgent. No one. You devoured the fruit, I didn't even taste. He tilted my chin and sealed my mouth with a cool, lingering kiss that lasted until I was breathless. Forehead to forehead, his eyes glowed like city lights. Julian, why are you this good? He'd been good to her since sandbox days. Only noticing now? Could be worse, you could be totally clueless. So unromantic. I shoved him and hit play, only to be tucked against his chest, his breath at my ear. Silly girl, I told you, I'll always write the puts on your disasters. Chase rang from every number, I blocked them all. I didn't expect him to camp outside the penthouse. Serena, I deserve an explanation. Half a month had ravaged him, stubble, hollow cheeks, zero polish. 7 years, and you humiliate me like this? When did you and him even start? His righteous anger was hilarious. Oh, you remember 7 years? Every time you parked Mia in front of me, did it occur to you I wouldn't wait forever? His eyes sparked. You're jealous of her? She's fired today, nothing ever happened. Her mom was there, I only helped. Believe me, Serena, I never betrayed you. I cut in. Doesn't matter. Everyone told me to cut losses long ago. I gave you chances on chances. You caught none. Julian and I had a bet, I said. If our wedding went off without a hitch, he'd stay out of the way. If I lost the bet, the wedding would still happen, only the groom would be him. Chase's eyes were wide with disbelief. I went on. You're the one who made me lose. You were the one who personally stamped out the 7 years between us. The man in front of me froze, sorrow and despair so dense they almost took on weight. He still refused to accept it. Do you love him? Have you slept with him? I looked at the shadow spilling around the corner and smiled without thinking. Of course. I really like him, I honestly want to be with him. I said yes because he's him, not to spite you or get revenge. He's a good man, I won't use him as a weapon, especially not against someone like you. You're not worth it. Chase's breath hitched, the light in his eyes cracked like shattered glass. Julian strolled out then, draping an arm over my shoulder like he owned the world. What, trying to bully my wife while I'm gone? Looks like my dear father-in-law still hasn't driven you into chapter. Too soft-hearted, if you ask me. Wife. Father-in-law. The words stabbed Chase like shards of ice. He glared at Julian, hatred seething. You've been scheming for Serena all along, haven't you? You filthy opportunist. Julian spread his hands, owning it. Yep, I've wanted her since we were kids. Problem with that? As for opportunity, you created the void, you know exactly how. Instead of calling me names, go audit your precious assistant and the gutter tricks she's been pulling. With your IQ, you should stay out of business, buddy. I burst out laughing, his tongue was still razor sharp. He pinched my cheek. All you do is giggle. Learn from me, when you meet trash, talk trash. My fault, really, I didn't teach you earlier, left you suffering for years. Yes, I'll take you as my master, okay? Just promise to teach me well. Class starts tonight. I'll show you what hands-on tutoring means. Watching us, Chase's eyes went blood red. How ironic, once he and Mia had flaunted the same easy intimacy in front of me while insisting they were just friends. Serena, you really don't want me anymore? I couldn't be bothered to answer, I turned and walked inside. Julian clicked his tongue, annoyance thick. Still at it? Guys, escort him out. He's banned from setting foot here again. The moment Chase realized the crystals on the wedding gown were glass, the report he'd ordered landed on his desk. Mia and her mother had been acting all along. They'd played him for a fool and cost him Serena. He fired Mia on the spot and demanded she repay every cent for the fake diamonds. Mia's mother had already burned through half the cash, new condo, handouts to distant relatives, then vanished the instant debt collectors knocked, leaving her daughter to clean up the mess. No matter how Mia begged, Chase stayed unmoved. He was convinced her scheming had wrecked any chance of salvaging things with Serena. Worse, he'd lost Victor's backing, his company was circling the drain. Partners were pulling out, share price plummeting, banks freezing credit lines. For the first time in years, Chase tasted utter despair. He searched frantically and finally cornered me, apology trembling on his lips. I'm sorry, Serena, so damned sorry. I never should have used Mia to hurt you or taken you for granted. I was duped, but if you'll just give me one more chance. I rubbed my swelling belly while I waited for Julian to finish paying the hospital bill. Duped? Don't pawn your mistakes off on others. Mia's lies were paper thin. 10 minutes of fact-checking would have shredded them. You chose to swallow them whole. Don't play victim, it's pathetic. He fled. Within weeks, Sterling Digital, once the darling of the tech scene, was headline news for entering chapter. Falling from the clouds hurts far more than never flying at all, because you remember the view from the top. Losing the woman he loved and the empire he'd built broke him. Memories he'd edited now replayed in merciless clarity. Serena, born into privilege yet without a trace of entitlement. Serena, protecting his pride, buffering him from her parents' sharp edges. Serena, bankrolling his earliest, cash-strapped days, cheering every small win. Everyone used to say landing her was karma paying out in advance. After a while, the compliment curdled. At Sterling's valuation peak, that slight began to fester. He started pushing her, needing the world to say, smart girl, backing a unicorn, not, lucky guy, bagging a princess. Mia appeared right when that ego itch screamed loudest. Each flash of hurt in Serena's eyes gave him a rush. See? Even a golden heiress dances to my tune. Down that road he marched, straight off a cliff. Only later did he realize, cherry blossoms are beautiful no matter who stands beneath them. He hadn't lost to Julian, he'd lost to his own greed. Chase became a ghost haunting their happiness, peeking from the shadows. She gave birth to a girl whose eyes were miniature reflections of hers. They'd once planned 2 children, one for each surname, one boy, one girl. Now that future was vapor. Julian posted glowing photos, childhood sweethearts, fate-sealed love, reruns of kindergarten memories, stories Chase had never starred in. His 7 years with Serena shrank to a footnote, himself reduced to an extra in her life. It wasn't supposed to end like this. Once, they'd been each other's world. No matter how he raged, how he repented, the curtain had fallen. Forever had turned into never. Taylor, sleep eluded him. Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed the video, please double tap and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the thread, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.